This is a Deepseek research team, the creators of a groundbreaking Chinese AI model that some say ended America's monopoly on AI. And this is the team behind OpenAI's O1 model, the most advanced American AI model. Notice anything unusual?
So when you read the thoughts, does it feel like you're watching a human, or does it feel like you're watching a robot?
It's like a spiritual experience.
Can you zoom in a little bit? Yeah, right here. 80% of OpenAI's team wasn't born in the US. Either they immigrated themselves or their parents did. And Deepseek? 100% Chinese born, raised, and educated. Right here on the screen are the scientists behind the world's two most advanced AIs. And less than 10% of them are the product of the American system. If we want to understand the battle between the US and China in AI, we have got to ask, why isn't the US producing its own AI talent? And what do these three letters have to do with it? Hi, I'm Scripter, an AI researcher and a group behavioral economist. I've lived and worked on both sides of the world. I spent 5 years in the US at Columbia University and in Canada, and 5 years in China as a Forbes columnist. I'm also a bit of an outsider. I'm an Australian and a Russian as well. So that means that I can look at both America's and Chinese systems from outside, or more like from above. It's almost like a scientist in a lab. And today we will explore why China's AI might be rising so fast, and whether America's AI will have talent to keep up. This is not a trivial question. The future of the entire world depends on it. And to find out, we will need to compare how China and the US train their AI talent. And that's what we're gonna do in this video. Two words sum up China's education: gaokao, which is a national exam, and competition. Brutal might be an understatement here, because basically it's one shot at this test, and it often decides your entire future. If you fail, you're almost guaranteed to end up at the bottom of the social ladder forever. Downsides? Well, of course, tremendous stress, mental breakdowns, intense pressure. What about upside? It trains an entire society to be ferociously competitive. It trains survival warriors, if you will. It is like a modern-day Sparta. So, competitive, objective, and non-gameable. If you put it all together, you get a pure meritocracy. Oh, sure, this can stifle creativity. When you are racing to survive, you rarely pause to think differently. Those who stop and reflect, they get wiped out. But in terms of raw technical talent, it's incredibly effective. And make no mistake, China designed the system in this way. Meritocratic, no matter how brutal it seems. And this is how, and Deepseek just showed us, this is how China has got its own AI talent. As a matter of fact, I went through a similar system myself, back in Russia. I studied from dawn to midnight, 7 days a week, on the brink of being expelled. Many of my classmates, they didn't make it. And that's how I know that high-intensity filtering does churn out strong technical minds. And by the way, a fun fact. About 1/3 of America's OpenAI O1 team came from Poland, another country with Soviet-influenced educational system. But the Soviet system, well, it's nothing compared to China, the modern-day AI Sparta. Now let's talk about the US. If 80% of OpenAI's team are first and second generation immigrants, does that mean that the US can no longer produce its own AI talent? Here we have two major camps of thought. Camp number one says, well, no big deal. America has always been the melting pot attracting brilliant people worldwide. And that's the plan. Bring the best minds to the US, train them at top schools and universities like Stanford, and let them build cutting-edge AI. In other words, that's not a bug, it's a feature. Camp number 2 says, well, things are different now. The American dream was always simple. Work hard and you succeed. But not anymore. Today, success requires diversity, equity, and inclusion. They say that it's all started with affirmative action, which initially in 1960s and 1970s was aimed at fairness. But later it mutated into race and gender-based admissions and race and gender-based decisions across the entire spectrum. Some schools even dropped the standardized tests like SAT for being unfair to certain groups. They point to cases like a Harvard Graduate School of Education piece noting a 45-minute drive to an SAT center as a reason to scrap that test entirely. It's like this. Spartans, tonight we dine in hell. But hey mate, this is 45-minute drive. What? 45-minute drive? Well, never mind then. The US, as people say, so the US has become an anti-Sparta. Because in a world where you no longer need to be the most talented or the hardest worker to get admitted or to get promoted, why would you even bother studying and working hard? If performance matters less, critics question whether students remain motivated, especially in math and physics, where mastery takes serious grind. Critics argue that the system is just one step away from punishing high achievers. At its core, this debate is about equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome. Critics say that DEI pursues equality at the finish line. And that's the crux. Has the US lost its competitive edge in AI because it strayed from raw meritocracy? Or is America's melting pot strategy still working and still attracting, still being a magnet for top talent? No matter which side you lean toward, we can't deny one fact. China's system is pumping out a large number of highly skilled technical experts, while America's top AI labs increasingly rely on foreign-born minds. As you probably noticed, I'm personally not a big fan of DEI. And the reason for this is because of competition. Competition is what makes it all interesting. Without it, the world is like flat. And that is the reason why the Olympic Games exist. But I may be wrong here, as I often am. Which is why we need your opinion. So what do you think? Is DEI a positive force that ultimately strengthens the US, and the overall West by leveling the playing field? Or is it jeopardizing America's, and again, the West's leadership in AI? Can the US still reproduce its own AI talent? Or is that a thing of the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get this conversation started. Because if there is one race that might shape the entire future of humanity, that's a race for AI. So I'm Scriptor, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also to our newsletter, so you don't miss anything important. See you on the other side. And here we have reached our secret section. And in today's secret section, I will have to ask for your help. Because you probably remember that the last week we have started a Kickstarter campaign for my book, for Scriptor. And we are raising $2,000 to publish the book, to go through that final step. And we've raised 25%, like a quarter of funds that we need. But the campaign got stuck. So we're not moving as fast as we need to if we want to get to a success. And that's where you can help. So even a few dollars would mean the world for us and for me personally. The link you can find in the description. Again, thank you very much for support. This means a lot.